Hello guys, thank you very much for joining in. We're going to be having one more quick session with one of our students. In this session, she's going to be sharing her experience of preparing for the FRM exam and finally clearing the exam in the first attempt. Okay, so today we have with us Mansi Gogri. She was attempting the exam for January this year, and she cleared the exam in the first attempt. Okay, so first of all, thank you very much, Mansi, for being a part of this entire session and sharing your valuable thoughts and the way of your preparation so that it can help the other students. So, but for the benefit of the audience, Mansi, if you could give us a brief about what you were doing before you started the preparation of the exam. When was your exam, and how did you started the preparation?
Thank you so much for having me, sir. So I was in my first year of BMS in UPG College when I started prepping for FRM. Um, Initially, I didn't know about the course. It wasn't very popular and on trend among students. But then when I started talking to my professors in college and with seniors, I got to know that it's very relevant to what we're studying. It has amazing subjects which I liked, and that's when I decided to pursue it.
Okay, great. And then, so you were planning to appear for the November exam, November 2020. Then you gave the exam in January 2021. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when did you start your preparation for this entire FRM thing?
So I started my preparation 5 months early, around April, I think, because I was intending to appear for it in November. So earlier I used to put in lesser hours, but then towards the end I used to focus entirely on it.
Okay, perfect. And you referred the Schweizer book for your preparation and the question
Yes,
bank that we provided. Okay. Now, in terms of the books that you picked for your own, because anywhere you join, you have to do your own preparation also. So what was your strategy in terms of picking up the books for your preparation? Which order did you go?
So I started with book 3, and then so I finished the futures and options chapters first. Then I went to book 4, finished the relevant chapters of option Greeks. Then jumped on to book 2, completed it entirely.
Okay.
Then again went to book 4, completed the VAR chapters, bond valuation chapters, and then jumped to book 1 at the end.
Perfect. Okay, so this was the overall strategy that you followed.
Yeah.
Now, one more question which I forgot to ask you in the start itself, that okay, when you started the preparation for FRM, was there any fear or any questions or doubt that you had in your mind, or that said, okay, why am I going for FRM, or should I go for FRM or not? Any queries or anything that you had in your mind?
Yeah. Of course, I was nervous. I was confused. I couldn't contemplate whether I should do it or not, because the average age of people who appear and clear FRM is older than I was. I was only 19 when I did it, and I was afraid that what if I couldn't do it? I don't have enough experience, and but as and when I went ahead, I refer to the subjects, I realized that anybody who studies it can clear it. So it's possible to do it.
Okay, perfect. And also, now all of this question I'm asking from the perspective of the audience, that okay, if you're reading the content for the first time, was there a situation that you understood everything 100%, or there was some still the queries, and you went again and when you revised, then a lot of things got in place? What was the situation?
Yeah. So in the beginning, since I was a student who had no idea what the subjects are about, so when I started reading it initially, there were a lot of things, concepts, words that I did not understand. So I had to go back separately, look out for them, read a little more, put a little more effort to understand the basic concept, and then jump to the concept in the book. So that was my personal effort that I had to put in. But it was okay because I was interested in the subjects. And yeah, of course, whenever I had doubts, I used to reach out to you, and you would solve them for me. So
the reason I asked you this question is because, see, a lot of students, when they appear for the exam or they're preparing for the exam, they have a thought process that whenever I pick up a book, I should be able to understand 100%. This is not the way the curriculum is designed. When you
Yeah.
solve questions, when you do a revision, then a lot of things will fall in place and you'll start understanding a lot of things in detail. Okay, this was the connection point. So that is one point which I want to take, ask the students to take as a takeaway from this session, that don't worry, don't take pressure when you're not able to understand 100% of the first reading. Now,
Definitely.
on a daily basis, from when you started your preparation, just to get an idea, on a daily basis, how much time you were dedicating in the initial months and how that time dedication changed after a few months?
So in April and May, I think I was not putting in a lot of hours because I thought I was still confused, or I don't know what was going on in my head. But so since it was very difficult at the first reading, I thought let's take it slow. And then when I picked up my pace in the later months, I was putting in 6 to 7 hours, I think. So I used to do 3-4 hours in the morning, and then 3-4 hours in the evening, and then we had our tests at night. So I used to revise quickly and appear for tests too. So
Right.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. No, because see, primarily you had the luxury of time, so you utilize it in a very proper way,
yeah,
and
definitely.
you dedicated entirely. For people who might not have the time, they might have to start initially also from the 2 hours and 3 hours time, so that they
Yeah.
can pick up the book properly. Now, when you're preparing, okay, so did you focus more on calculation part, or you also were looking at theory? I mean, what was your thought process when you're preparing?
So I actually focused on both. First, understanding the concept, and then focusing on the calculation. Because
Okay.
the use of because when I used my calculator, when I got used to all the functions, it became
Mhm.
easier to calculate. But if I don't know why I'm doing it and what I'm doing it for, then there's no point in knowing how to use that calculator.
Correct.
So I focused on both parts.
Mhm.
And in my exam too, we had more questions which were theory based, which
Hmm.
tested our concepts.
Hmm.
So that was helpful.
Okay, perfect. And so 1 month before the exam date, what was your status in terms of reading, in terms of solving? What was your completed part?
Okay. I had completed most of the portion a month before the exam. A few chapters, I think, from book one, which were very important, I had kept it in the last so that I can, thoroughly do it and not keep revising it again and again, because in the last 1 month you have to focus on revising everything.
Right.
So I used to do a new chapter in the morning,
Mhm.
and then keep revising the old ones in the evening, and then solve questions related to it.
Right.
So
Okay.
that was my thing.
Okay. And also, if you're when you're preparing for the content, okay, was there any specific chapters that you felt, okay, this was difficult? So how did you dealt with that? Or, for example, in the entire book, you said, okay, there are 1 or 2 chapters which you could not understand 100% because it might be
Yeah.
some technical part or it might be something at a higher level. So how did you manage to do that?
Um, I think I faced problem in book four VAR calculation chapters.
Okay.
That was something entirely new for me. So I I dreaded those chapters at the beginning. I was like, how am I going to cope with this? But then
Okay.
eventually, so I reheard the pre-recorded videos 2 or 3 times. I solved the question bank, and I used to do it simultaneously. So I used to look at the answers and then try to understand how is it related, and then
Right.
again come back to the reading in the textbook, see this concept, and then oh, I understand it now, why this is going
Okay.
that way. So that
Okay.
helped me a lot.
Great, great. Because see, the reason again I asked you this question because a lot of students feel that in a book, if 1 or 2 chapters they could not understand properly, they feel that they're not comfortable with the book at all. But that is not true. That is one part. Second part being, you like the way the strategy you used. Okay, at least you were able to go through the entire question and go back again to the uh, concept and verify. So that I think was a very good way to at least get the confidence in that chapter.
Yeah,
Okay, because if you do not have the confidence, you'll never be able to pick up that question in the final exam. Now,
true.
at the time, so when you got the information that your exam is going to get postponed, was there any change that you did, or how did you manage that next extra 2 months that you got?
Honestly, I was disappointed that my exam got postponed because I was in full prep mode, and then my
Right.
pace slowed down a bit in when I heard the news. But
Mhm.
then I knew if I stop revising it, I might not be very comfortable with the chapters at the end. So
Right.
I I started putting in a little less time than I did before, but
Mhm.
I continued prepping for it. Like I used to revise a few concepts daily. I used to write down formulas even for futures and options chapters.
Right. Okay.
So that it became easier for me to calculate. So
Okay.
I used to do that continuously every day. Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect. Now let us go to the exam date. Now, when we talk about the exam date, out of 100 questions, how many questions you felt that you were able to solve it properly within 4 hours?
Um, I think I was able to solve around 75 to 80 questions
Where you had
properly.
the confidence.
I
Okay.
Yeah, I had the confidence. With
Okay.
the others I did solve, I was able to solve the entire paper
Hmm.
within time left also. But then
Okay.
uh, the 20 to 25 questions, I wasn't really sure if they're correct or not. I was
Okay.
doubtful about the answer.
And you used for those 20-25 questions, you used option elimination strategy or anything like that, which could
Yeah,
help
I
you to
did.
reach.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So there was always a doubt in two options only at the end. So you had to decide, go back to the concept and,
Hmm.
try to relate to it. Just, I would advise everybody not to panic. It's okay. Just keep your mind, keep your calm and think about what you've studied because you know the concept. Just you only have to apply it and get the answer. So
Right.
that.
Right. And in the exam, on an average, what do you think? How many questions were theory? How many questions were calculation, proper calculation?
Okay. I think not many. I can't think of a number right now, but
Mhm.
there weren't a lot of calculative questions. So I think 80% of the paper was
Theory.
theory,
Right. Okay.
testing only concepts. And the other 20% was mostly the cons that we had, book two.
Mhm.
And that was most questions in cons and bond valuation also were
Mhm.
calculation based, but the others were purely theoretical questions.
And those calculation based questions were easy or was it very tough?
No, they were easy. So if you've practiced before, they were really easy. Yeah.
Okay. Now, there was one more reason that I asked you this question because a lot of students who enter this exam, they feel that, okay, it's very con driven, or else the actual exam is primarily very theoretical and it tests your understanding. Right. And because see, students see, okay, there is a standard deviation calculation, there is some covariance calculation, but actually they don't ask you that sum that is
Yeah.
basically to build up your base. Now, out of that entire exam experience, okay, so you said, okay, I solved 70, 75, right? When you came out of the exam, what was your expectation? What you thought that how many marks I would have got? What number on an average?
So when I was doing your practice question papers also,
Mhm.
I used to get 70 to 73 questions right at max
Okay.
of 100. So I
Okay.
thought, yeah, I was on my track, but I was still doubtful about those 20 questions. So I thought, I don't know if I'll be able to clear the exam because you don't know how many people have done better than you.
Right.
It's a
Right.
percentile based exam. So that fear is always there out of the exam.
Hmm.
But I think uh, if you've solved these many questions right, you do clear the exam like I
Okay.
did. So
Okay. Okay. And one more question. So, with respect to the quant book, the second book quantitative analysis. Now, when you saw that book at the first, and when you came out of the exam, what was there any change in the approach, or basically, the reason I'm asking you this specifically is to understand, was that very difficult, first of all, that book, and was the same level of difficulty came in the exam or not? in terms of the quant part? It can be theory, it can be calculation also.
So cons, personally, I really like the book
Mhm.
because once you know the concept, it's very easy for you to solve the questions.
Right.
And people fear maths because they don't know how to apply the formula that is there. So if you know the concept,
Hmm.
then it's very easy, and the level was similar. So what questions I solved in your book, it was quite the questions were quite similar in the exam too. So that was not a problem. So,
Okay. And in theory, did you found bigger questions or questions with some unnecessary information or some tricky part? That means instead of asking you which of the following is true, they're asking you which of the following is not false, like that. So was there a pattern
yeah.
that you saw in that exam?
So since I had solved questions like that before, I had solved a lot of questions. So I could, spot those the not word in the question.
Okay.
And uh, and one thing that I would like to tell people is, so when you read the question, start with the last line before the question mark. That's where the gist of the question is, and then go up so that you know what you're looking for, what information you're looking for in the answer.
Right.
So that was
Right.
my approach to solving the question. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And now after completion of the exam, okay, and so result came out, you cleared. Now, was there a change in terms of recognition or perception of people that you saw? Because right now you are doing an internship. So do you find that happening with, because you cleared FRM level 1? Any thoughts on that?
Uh, Definitely, it gives you an edge, but only if you're able to answer those questions in the interview that they ask you. They drill you if
Okay.
they know that you've cleared this FRM level 1. So people should prepare beforehand if they're adding this to their CV. And definitely, my teachers uh, invited me to talk to the entire class about my experience, to
Wow.
my juniors. A lot of people approached me, and I think I must have answered questions of nearly 50 people by now about FRM and how to go about it.
Wow.
And
Great.
I'm very happy to help. But yeah, definitely, people's perceptions change when you achieve something at a very young age. So it
Great,
really
great,
helped me. Yeah.
great, great. And see, primarily, the reason this was there, and like I said about the interview. So I also had a similar experience when I cleared the exam, and when I went for an interview which was not specifically related to derivative as such, but still I was being asked those questions because they knew that I cleared FRM level 2. And when everything happened, then I asked, is it this profile? No, this is not, but just we wanted to check, because when you're writing it in your CV, you're saying, okay, I know about this. So
Yeah.
they're just checking how much confident you are from that perspective. Now, if somebody comes to, a lot of people are already talking to you, right? So about the FRM exam, level 1, if somebody asks you now, what 3 things would you like to share with the person that about the exam?
Uh, be consistent in your practice.
Mhm.
That is the most important thing.
Okay.
Don't do it for a month and then stop doing it. That just ruins the entire process. The second thing I would like to highlight is, so if you've cleared level 1 or you're appearing for it, do mention it to everybody, but then don't just fall back on your prep. So just telling people about it is not enough. You should also know what you're talking about, and focus more on book 3 and 4 because it has more weightage. So I must have told you about that before. And book 2 and book 1 is also important, especially the case studies that are there in book 1. They are very tricky questions. So I would advise people to, make mind map or something, because even I used to get confused between the 2, 3 cases that were there,
Yes.
which were important. So that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Great, Mansi. Thank you very much for your time. And I hope this interview basically helps students and motivates students, especially college students primarily, to go for the exam and clear for the exam, because I've been getting a lot of queries. specific to people are now inquiring even after 12th completion of 12th whether they can go for FRM, because if they want to go for CFA also they have a gap of around 2 years. So
Yeah.
this 2 years they can at least clear level 1, get the edge, and go for the level 2 in next year or something like that. Now we wish you best of luck for your preparation for level 2, and definitely if there is an opportunity in future that we can connect for us to, we can guide our student in terms of preparation, that would be really helpful. And thank you very much again for putting the time and guiding the students in this entire journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm glad I could be helpful.
Thank you.